Hi there, I'm Katrina, and this is my final video on Project Havoc. So we're going to start with part 1. I'm going to be showing you my Exchange 2016 environment here. So all running in VMware, we have my DC. So here it is right here. So it's running, this is my domain, adexchangelab.ca. Here's its IP right here. So that is running the domain, which connects my 2 Exchange servers. So here you have Exchange 01, also in exchangelab.ca. This is my second Exchange server, also within the exchangelab.ca domain. Here's my backup VM, so I'll just name backup, also within the domain. It's running Veeam, that's the name right here, Veeam backup. Here's my client, who is also connected to the domain. So you can see here. So we're just gonna log in as Tony Stark. And so here we are. This is computer name is Kabayo1 and within the Exchange server domain. Okay, first we'll start with Exchange server 1. And here are our drives. This is for the logs. This is for the mailbox databases. So here we are here, 1 and 2. And then we got the logs within here. So there and named. Here is within EMS. So we can see, looking at our mailbox databases, and we got the paths from the E drive, and then the logs from the F drive. There we go. And then we can use this to show how healthy it is. So we got a mailbox for 01. It's mounted on Exchange 01, this one. And then we'll check over on Exchange server 2. And this one should be mounted over there. And they are both healthy. So we're going to do the exact same thing over here. See again, the F drive for the logs, E for the mailbox database. See them in here. The logs in here. With EMS, we can run the same commands that we did before. So here we go again. Same thing before. The name, where it is, the logs, the status here. So the mailbox 02. And it says Exchange 02 mounted over here. And then the mailbox 01 is mounted over on Exchange 01. And they are both healthy. And for the update, here we go here. So it was updated, both of them, to version 15.1 build 2507.6, which is CU23. And I'm just looking at this. 1501 2507.06. This one here. I did take photos for the upgrade. So here was before the upgrade. This is what it was. The build is 2308.8. Here's after I upgraded Exchange 01. So here's the newer version versus the old one. Again, here, same thing. Here are them both updated. So I didn't think I'd update the .NET. I just had to run this, rewrite AMD 664, IIS URL rewrite module 2. That is all I needed to do to update it. And now it's time for the accepted domains. So here, this is the main domain here, adexchangelab.ca. This was from when I did one of the first labs, when I first brought in the mailboxes. I thought example.com was actually the email we were supposed to have for them, so I just used it as another accepted domain. I haven't done too much with it other than just for that lab, so you might see it, but it won't really be here too much. Because Oxford is the one I actually used as my other domain for this project here. So here we have all the mailboxes here with their primary email addresses. So as most everyone here is primary is the adexchangelab.ca. Here I created these two, Kate Bishop, Clint Barton. They're also part of Marvel. They have the primary domain of the oxford.org. This command here, this is showing that everyone has more than one email address. So it can be used interchangeably between oxford.org, adexchangelab.ca, or example.com. Again, that was left over from my previous lab. But this in here, when it's all capital letters, that means it's the primary email address. And then I believe these are the aliases, it's called. just so you can use either one. So for all people here, and then when you get down to the people I added for the Oxford, that is their primary email address. That's what they were created with, and then they have their aliases with ExchangeLab and example.com. Next on the list here is the Oxford grouping. So I'm going to show the grouping in Active Directory users and computers. So here we have Oxford users, which has the 2 people within the Oxford group. Okay, so here is my dynamic distribution group. So it's the Oxford dynamic distribution group. And here's to show who's in the Oxford dynamic distribution group. So again, Kate and Clint are in the Oxford group and the distribution group. I did this really quickly. For the separation of the global address lists, I just created a new address book policy for the Oxford global address list and the Oxford address list. So those had Kate and Clint in it. So here's where you can see within the Oxford global address list, Kate and Clint. So we're logged in as Kate here. This is the OWA. We look in the directory, you can only see the 2 of them because they're the only ones in the group. Say if you search for someone, Bruce Banner, you won't find anyone because it's separate. So currently I only have the address book policy for the Oxford users. I have the global address list and just the regular address list for my current domain, the exchangelab.ca. I just don't have the address book policy for it. So the way this currently goes is Kate and Clint can only see themselves. They can't see out to the other users, but the other users can see Kate and Clint because they are not in their own address book policy group right now. So that could just quickly be done by, as I just did earlier, just creating the address book policy for the ExchangeLab users and attaching the users to the global access list. I think they're already attached, so just put that together, and they should just be separate from each other. Okay, and here is the mailbox to database mapping. That is through EMS. Okay, and we are going to test the emails. So right now, Kate, we're gonna go Oxford to Oxford, Oxford to original, which is the ExchangeLab, and then ExchangeLab to Oxford. So to the only other Oxford person here, Clint. So that's sent to him, and we can double check by logging in as him. And here's the inbox. We see Kate's email. So next it's the Oxford to original. So we're going to email someone within the original domain. So we're gonna email Natasha. Okay, so we're gonna send once we see it sent. And we are going to sign in as Natasha. And so we got the email from Clint. And we're just gonna send an email back. Double check that it made it. And we got Natasha's reply back. So perfect. So that showed Kate to Clint, Oxford to Oxford, Clint to Natasha, which was Oxford to the original ExchangeLab, and then Natasha back to Clint, which was the ExchangeLab or the original, back to Oxford. And now we're going to show a calendar meeting request in boardroom A. We're going to do the Avengers meeting for half an hour, and then we're going to add. So this is set up by Clint in the Oxford group. So we're going to add Natasha. So as soon as this meeting, it should ping everyone saying that there's a meeting request for that. So might as well just log back into Natasha and see what's going on. And here we got the Avengers meeting from Clint. I'll accept. So there we go. The meeting went through and I was able to accept it. And that was the cross-platform because it was started up by the Oxford user and accepted by the ExchangeLab user. Now it's time for the OWA login formats. So as I've been showing, I've been using this format right here, the ExchangeLab / the user's account name. So we're just going to do it this way. So we're going to sign in that way. Works. And here we go, the Avengers meeting. He's going to decline. Assign it as Clint again. Oxford. We're logged in here, so we see the responses of the Avengers meeting. We see Tony declined and Natasha accepted. And here is the DAG. Members Exchange 02, Exchange 01, both operational servers. Here we have the replication health, all pass, no errors. So DAG membership pass, cluster services pass, all these on Exchange Server 1. We can do the same on Exchange Server 2. And again, all passed, no error. Here is my DAG cert. So issued to mail ad.exchangelab.ca. What I've been using to log in with, and there's no red here. It's using the cert I've installed on the computer, which is the DAG cert. So here we got perfect. It's using HTTPS, so it's secure using the certificate that I've self-signed. So now we're going to do a mailbox database failover. So here we have mailbox database 01. It's mounted on this Exchange Server 01 here. So we are going to be moving it over to Exchange Server 02. And while we do that, we'll make sure, the OWA is still up and running. So we're just going to put it there. Well, that was pretty fast, so it was kind of hard to capture that. But the fact that it was so quick is perfect. Didn't even give me a chance to do that. But I guess, a little bit it was up and running. And then so we see here that it's healthy and healthy. And that should mean they're both mounted over on Exchange Server 2. So here we go, Exchange Server 2, both mounted over here. Okay, we're going to start with the copy sync of the databases here. So they're both mounted on Exchange Server 2. So this is the passive copy on Exchange Server 1. So we're just going to sync it up with the active copy. So we're going to suspend the mailbox. We're going to update the mailbox and delete the existing files that it already has. And I'm going to say yes. And then we are going to resume the mailbox copy. And we are now going to put Exchange Server 1 into maintenance mode because that's the one with the passive copies. Put Exchange Server 1 in maintenance mode. I blocked the database activation. I drained transport services. And I suspended activation on database copies. It's back. Now we're going to take a look at the public folders within the Exchange Admin Center. So we got a few public folders like the Avengers, Finance, Global Staff, HR, IT, and the Thunderbolts. So Bruce Banner is the owner of the IT public folder. Thunderbolts has its own subfolder for shared documents, which Elena is the owner of. I think Global Staff is Tony Stark, yeah, he's the owner of that one. Yeah, so we only have owners for a couple of them, Global Staff, IT, and then the shared document throughout the subfolder of the Thunderbolts. So we're going to go here. So we're going to add a folder favorites. We're going to add Tony Stark's profile, so we're going to add the Global Staff, which is his folder, into the favorites. And we're going to do the Avengers as well. We'll post something in there. Here's the Global Staff, which I already have a couple of messages in there. So is Tony Stark. He can delete because he is the owner of that folder. And say if we like to log in as. She has the group. Try and delete, but it will not delete because she doesn't have the permissions to delete. Since she is not an owner or anything, she is only just a user. She can't delete other people's messages, but she can delete her own because that was her own message. Other public folder if she wanted to. She can also add the Avengers, where she'll see Tony's message. But again, she won't be able to delete it because she doesn't have the permissions to do so. Of course, as always says that it was working, the backups were working before this, but currently they are not. I don't know really exactly what happened. I did revert the Exchange servers back to, and the DC back to snapshots from before Veeam was installed. And I re-added Veeam to the domain and re-added the servers back onto the infrastructure. And then just for some reason the DC was able to back up properly, but when I tried to back up the Exchange servers, it just says it couldn't connect. And I've tried all like the Veeam services on Exchange servers, if there's like some cache issues or just like reverting back to something else. On Veeam, I've tried to restart a bunch of different services, I've tried deleting caches of other things, and it's just, not working. So I am just going to set that aside, unfortunately, get some marks off for that. But, I want to get this project finished, so this is what I'm just going to have to do, which is very unfortunate because I did have the backups working, as I always say. I was able to back up the databases and restore them, but obviously I won't be able to show that here since it's not able to connect with my Exchange servers. I mean, I was not able to get the mailbox completely done in the first place, the backup. Well, the backup worked, but the restore of the mailboxes, that I always had an issue with, so I was never able to complete that. But unfortunately, the one part of the backup that I could do, I can no longer do. So, with that, I am going to be moving on to the migration to the 2019 servers. So I'm just gonna pause this video, be on to part 2. Now we're back for part 2, which is the Exchange Server 2019. So I have my two 2019 servers up and running, and they are both joined to the domain here, exchangelab.ca. Then this one is too. I already have Exchange installed on both of them, up and running. That was with all the prerequisites. There was the cluster services, Active Directory services, web services, mail services, all that kind of stuff. And I also had to do the UCMA runtime, the Credist, the Net Framework 4.8, and then this rewrite AMD 64, and then obviously the Exchange Server 2019 ISO. And just like the 2016 servers, the logs are in the F drive and the mailbox databases are in E drive. So we got here, these are what I named the mailbox databases. So that's Exchange 03, so this is, and then here's Exchange 04. Those are both my 2019 servers, so I got the logs, databases. Then we can just double check here. So we're looking at the mailbox, this is 2016. And here's my 2019 servers. So we got the E drive and then the F drive. So very similar with their path they're taking, just the names are different. So here's my new DAG, the DAG 2019, and it has my Exchange 03 and Exchange 04 servers in it. Here we can check the health between the replication of it. So we got healthy and healthy, and then we should see the same thing for over here. So here we go. So it's mounted on Exchange 04. So they both have copies of, each other's mailbox databases. So it's perfect for replication and moving over everything. And then quickly before the migration, here are the networks. So this is for the 2019 DAG, got the MAPI 2019, replication 2019. Then that's on replications on the host only, VMnet 15 subnet that I have, and then the MAPI is on the bridged network that I have. That's going between every server in the domain. So we're going to start migrating mailboxes of the users from the 2016 Exchange servers to the 2019 Exchange servers. I've already migrated one into each of my new mailbox databases that I have. So here we have group tree in the mailbox database over here. I have Rocket Raccoon in the second mailbox database that I have on the 2019 servers. So we're just going to migrate a couple more, and then I'm just going to do a full migration and then come back and show after it's all migrated over. We'll start with 2 more before we do all of them. So this is what I did last time, since this Exchange Server 2016, since it's able to see the databases of the 2019 ones because they're in like the same domain. It was able just to, move request for this person to the target database. I did the O1 for root and then O2 for Rocket. So I can just do the same thing, creating a new move request. But this time I can change who's moving. I'm going to move Bruce Wayne over to the mailbox database 1, and then Clark Kent to the mailbox database 2. So then it should just go forward. So wait for a job pickup. It might take a few minutes. We can see the status of it going in here. Harley Quinn I had also moved, so they're all in progress. So I'll just come back once they are done. Okay, I'm back now. So we see Clark Kent, Bruce Wayne, and Harley Quinn have all completed, going into their respective mailboxes, and we can just double check that here. So we see Bruce Wayne and Harley Quinn join in with the Mailbox 2019-01 group. And then now we see Clark Kent has joined the second mailbox database. And now while I'm here, I am just going to log in as one of the users I moved over onto 2019 servers. We'll just go with Harley. So perfect. Log in OWA, see the mail. We're also going to log in as Bruce Wayne. Okay, Quinn, and send that over to Harley Quinn. Make sure the mail flow's still working. And back in as Harley Quinn, we can see we got Bruce Wayne's email. We can send that back. Just make sure that it went through. And perfect. Okay, so now that we have moved over a couple of users and the mailboxes are still good, the mail flow is still good, I'm going to now migrate all of the users over. So I'll come back after I've done that, and then we'll finish the rest of this project. So as of right now, I have moved all of my users to my 2019 mailbox databases. Here's my move request showing it's all completed. Here's what I used to move everyone in the first place. So this moved anyone within this mailbox here, would move to the corresponding mailbox in 2019, and then same thing with the other mailbox. Database would move to this one on the Exchange server. Everyone from within this one is in here, and then everyone has been, the rest of them have been transferred over into this one over here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the remaining mailboxes within here, so I'll be able to start decommissioning the Exchange server's 2016s. Now I move the rest of the mailboxes, like the arbitration one, with all these in here, the audit log mailbox, public folder, monitoring. So all those have been moved, and here has now moved over to the other databases, like these. And obviously the users, more of the help mailboxes. So now it's actually time to start decommissioning Exchange Server 2016 now that all the mailboxes are moved over. So now it's time to decommission Exchange Server 2016. I made sure there was nothing in the mailbox server, Exchange 01, Exchange 02, or the mailbox databases. Just double checking. These are all making sure they're on either my Exchange 03 or 04, my 2019 servers. So now that's perfectly fine. Okay, so now the mailbox databases 1 and 2 have been removed. We are going to remove Exchange server 1 and 2 from the DAG. I'm gonna wait until that is done, and then I'll come back. And now that the two servers have been removed from the DAG, I'm going to delete the DAG itself. Perfect. Now it's time to uninstall Exchange Server 2016. I have already done it on my Exchange Server 1, so I'll just show how to do it on Exchange Server 2. I guess I partially uninstalled it already when doing it through the control panel, but it had thrown an error in there, so it was just half done before it exited out. I think this is the error I had gotten. It has to do with this. I'm still not exactly sure exactly what is going on there, but I found a way to fix it. So we go to Program Files, Microsoft Exchange Server, Team, and then we go to bin. We have to find this DLL right here, Xmime, which is this one right here. We rename it to something like this, something with the same name. And then we take this one here, make a copy, and then we are going to rename that copy into the Xmime. Just looking on Reddit, apparently this one has the ability to, looks like register or something. Not exactly sure. There must have been something I hadn't done before that caused it to error, but this is the quickest way to just solve that error and get it unsolved. That's what I was able to do with my previous Exchange server, so we can just do that now. And I'll just go on install. And then once that's done, it should be completely done, and we can just remove everything from the domain. Okay, now that the uninstall has happened completely, this is because it half uninstalled beforehand, so these files just aren't there anymore, but it is gone now. So if we see here, server 2016, just refresh, it's disappeared. And we can check in the other Exchange servers from the 2019. So here, this was after I installed Exchange server on number 1. So now if I run this again, Exchange server 02 should also be gone. So there we go. So now there's only Exchange server 3 and 4 left. Now it's time to remove the 2016 servers from the domain. Okay, we're going to remove Exchange server 1 for the domain first. Now we're going to do the same with Exchange server 2. Go back to the DC. We're going to go to users and computers, and we are going to be deleting Exchange 1 and 2. Now that those are deleted, we are going to just do a double check. Sure, there's nothing left over from the Exchange servers, and it doesn't look like it. And finally, it is time for the 2019 DAG failover. So right now I'm in Harley Quinn's account, and we see here that the mailbox databases are both mounted on this Exchange server 03. So what we're going to do is we're going to move this database to Exchange server 04. If it's like last time, it's going to be really fast and we'll get to really show any problems with the mailbox, but we'll see. So we got this that's happening. Just demonstrate that the mailbox is fine. My issue is my memory right now because my memory is pretty high, so things are super slow. But succeeded easily, mounted, and this was still working. It's been a wonderful time in iTask and everything, doing all these videos and all these projects. Unfortunately, this one had some issues, which I never like, but what can you do? Just keep on trying, but gotta do within a certain time limit and with other projects happening. So thank you so much, and this is Katrina signing off.